Good morning, real life traders, everyone out there in YouTube. Good morning. Give me just do me a favor. Can you hear me okay? Just make sure the morning, Tony, Jay. Okay, cool, good. I am coming to you live from Ontario, Canada. I'm up here at our cottage, and it's cold up here. I'm not going to lie to you. It is the ripple effect. Brian, good morning. Yeah, little cold. Brian, I guarantee you it's colder here than it is in Miami. Anyway, coming to you live from Ontario. Let me get to a different screen share for you. Give me 2 seconds to get move some things around here. Let me get to a different share. I'm on my laptop, so it's a little bit different than being at home with a lot of screens. So give me 2 seconds while I get things moved around here. Okay, all right. So you should be looking at my screen where I've got the overall markets, the S&P, the NASDAQ. Just give me a thumbs up or a one or something. Rick, thank you. Yep. Okay, cool. Good. Matt R, good morning. Good morning. All right. So let's take a look at the overall markets first. We'll take a look at the S&P, the NASDAQ. What was interesting is this morning when I first started doing my pre-market prep, I was looking at the markets and we were looking at a nice gap up at the moment. And then 8:30 rolled around and the markets just rolled over. Good morning, Hector. So markets rolled over. Question is why, right? Yeah, Tony. Yep, Tony's got a PPI. So if you, give me another second here, just move something around here. So let's talk about, PPI, okay? Let's go right over here, all right? So Econo Day, right? So today, by the way, today is one of the days that we're going to be slowing things down a little bit. At least I am, for focusing on new developing traders, anybody who's learning to trade, and just focusing on just providing the tools that they need to be successful and become a consistently profitable trader. So I'm on for the first hour this morning, 9 to 10. We're going to go through all the pre-market prep. And then this afternoon, I will be on again. I believe it's 2 to 3:30 is, I can double check that, but 2 to 3:30, if we go here, actually, let's just do this. Let's go to live trading. Here's the schedule for today. Yeah, I'm sorry. It wasn't 2 to 3:30. It's 3:30 to 5. I'll be on. Going to be doing intro to trading. It's going to be just solely focused on new traders. And I want everybody who's new to real life trading, new to trading in general, to come with questions. That will be an hour and a half dedicated to just trying to provide everyone with the answers that to the questions that they have, helping them with their trading, whatever it might be. So feel free to come and join me at 3:30 today for an hour and a half of basic intro to trading. Now, economic calendar. So Econo Day, right? So this is the website that I use to check to see, what's going on in the world of the markets. And so today, a couple things. So here was the PPI final report. That was at 8:30 a.m. That's what made the markets drop this morning after we were looking at a potential nice gap up today. So interesting that the market clearly didn't like that. I'm not going to get into the details of it, but you can feel free to hop go to Econo Day, if you just click that link, the report, it will give you the consensus outlook. It will give you the information on what the PPI is and all that. So anyway, all we need to know is that the market didn't like it, and it made the markets drop after we were looking at a potential gap up. The other thing to be aware of today is consumer sentiment. That's at 10 a.m. So it could be just one of those days where, you know, the first hour, right, or first half hour at least, that from when the market opens until that report comes out, that could just be just very choppy, very sideways action, quiet. So just be prepared for that. Let me go back to my, all right, so let's go back and look at the overall markets. Okay, so a couple of things I want to just point out. Let me maximize this. So here's the S&P. And what I want to, and I apologize, these, you know, I'm on a laptop with some portable screen, so it's not as easy to work with as my at home with my normal setup. So the one thing, you know, I've got this trend line drawn on here on the S&P, and what's really interesting about it is how well that has held. It's, if you're not using trend lines, it is super helpful. I use them for my looking at the broader picture. I use them for intraday timeframes. You know, I'm a big fan of trend lines because you can clearly see how well they work. So I had this trend line drawn, and in the 90-day, we have a course going on right now, which is the 90-day trading course. And I was talking about it in that when we were coming up to this level here, I said, don't be surprised if we hit that level and then it fails and we pull back. So this trend line clearly is holding. Even if you zoom in here and look at the candle, right? That came right up in that trend line. Very strong bullish candle. Good news is we're holding this level here now, right? So not surprised that it got rejected and pulled back, but at this point, if we can hold this level, we have a chance. You know, we need to get through that trend line, break through it. I'm going to give you an example what I look for once we get into the individual tickers that we follow. But the other thing is, you know, we also don't have any type of a divergence right now. So if you go back to this point where we hit the trend line here and here, right? And again, not everything works all the time, but if you notice down here, we actually did have, even though we were making lower highs here, right? So this point of the trend line, this point, we've got a lower high here, but we actually did have a bullish divergence down here on the MACD. So it clearly didn't work out. That trend line is very strong. So we do need to get through that, break through that and hold above it, and to resume the bullish trend. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ as well. Same picture. Zoom out a little bit. Right. So you can see here, it's, again, very similar look to the S&P. Had the same divergence here, right? But clearly didn't work out, even though we were showing a bullish divergence here, even when we were making lower lows, lower highs. So didn't work out, but the trend line is holding. If you notice, we actually did break through this trend line slightly. Let me zoom in a little bit here, but again, broke through it just barely, failed it, rolled back over. Here we didn't even get right up to it. But we'll see. We still have, you know, the Santa rally, right? We still have time for that. That's, you know, we've got the rest of December. We'll see if we can hold these levels now, right? So if you look here, right through here, if I can drop a price line in here, right? If we can hold these levels right through here, right? We may have potential for getting through that trend line, but just have to keep an eye on it. All right, so same look on the NASDAQ as we have on the S&P. Let me adjust some of these. So here was this big drop that we had here at 8:30 on both of them. It's unfortunate because it was looking like it was going to be a decent, nice little retest gap, bullish gap up, and now we're potentially looking. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Let's just see where we are, where price is in relation to yesterday. So right now we're inside yesterday's price action on both the S&P and the NASDAQ. So again, when this opens, until we break in a certain direction, we could just get a lot of chop. So let's wait and see what happens at the open. Let me give me a second. I'm going to pull up a different chart. I don't know if you can hear that. My dog is going nuts with drinking his water. I don't know if that's coming over the mic or not. Let's go. Let's take a look at the individual tickers. Okay, so you should be seeing my chart right now. Some high quality H2O. Yeah. So it's just my myself and my dog, just the two of us. The wife and my daughter are home. I came up here to do a little bit of work on the cottage since the water's turned off for the winter. So good time to do some work. I'm going to be remodeling a bathroom, so it's a perfect time to be, working on a bathroom when there's no running water. Anyway, so let's take a look at the individual tickers. Okay, so let me move a couple things around here. So here's Tesla, and this is the screen that I have set up here. Again, I'm on a laptop, so I'm limited with the number of things I'm going to look at. But Tesla, Nvidia. So in terms of the 10 EMA strategy, these are the tickers that I follow. So with I know that what's not on here right now is Delta, Roblox, and Airbnb. And the reason I don't have them on here right now is because those are not included with the funded account. And I'm sure a good number of you are using the funded account. And those of you on YouTube, if you're not familiar with what I'm referring to, go to reallifetrading.com. You can gain access to a funded account where you can audition. And if you pass the audition, then you are provided with an account to trade other people's money. Nothing better. But so let's take a look at the individual tickers. Again, Delta, Roblox, and Airbnb are not included as part of the funded account. So you cannot trade those tickers. So that's why on here I have Tesla, Nvidia, Amazon, AMD, but then I also follow Apple and then Shopify. These can change from day to day. I look for other tickers that are moving, and so these are my wild cards here. And when I say wild card, I know that like Johnny and Dan and the other moderators will use the wild cards as like a gap and go if there's a gap and go, and that's typically what I'm looking for. But I always take a look at Apple and Shop and a couple others in the morning. So, all right, let's take a look at the individual tickers. Go to different screen. Okay, let's take a look at Tesla. Zoom in here on the daily chart. Okay, so yesterday's candle, right? So I've got the high and I have the low marked off here with these green lines. And again, I'm going to go into some detail about what I'm doing. This is this Friday. Today is going to be geared towards the newer traders. So I'm going to make sure that everyone understands what we're doing in terms of the charts and the lines that we have drawn that we're utilizing for the 10 EMA strategy. So first thing is on Tesla, I've got my high from yesterday and my low. Those are identified by these green lines. These orange lines here, which carry over to here, are the high and low of the pre-market. Looks like I need to adjust this line a little bit. Bring that down. So here was the big drop, right? 8:30. That was the drop. So we are looking at currently inside day, right? So price action right now is going to open. If we just hold where we are right now, and no reason to think that we won't, we're going to open within yesterday's price action. So Typically for me, inside day represents chop. I know on an inside day, I'm going to anticipate a decent amount of chop with the price action until we can break in a direction. So, and also in terms of the 10 EMA strategy, these tickers that are trading inside will not be in play until they break above or below yesterday's price action. Or we have to wait an hour. There's a couple of different rules that come into play. Also, I've marked out here, not that they'll come into play today with Tesla necessarily, but here is the 10 EMA on the daily. Here's the 20 EMA on the daily. And then we have the weekly 200 hanging out down here. So good news is that we're holding where we dropped here. Hold my beer. Where we dropped here at 8:30. We're holding that level right now. So that will be important, or be interesting to see if we can maintain that level. We got Johnny Guarco joining us. Johnny's signing in. Johnny, you're supposed to be sleeping. This is the reason I'm in today, is to give you a little bit of extra time to sleep in. It's very early over there in Hawaii. Right?
I wish that was the case, brother.
You go back to sleep for another half hour or 40 minutes.
I'm here, ready to listen to the King Master.
Cool. All right. Let's take a look at Nvidia. So Nvidia, a couple of things I want to look at. First thing on the daily. Back to, let me zoom out. Let me go to a different time frame. I got to zoom out. Okay. So we were looking previously, when we were looking at the broader markets, we were looking at this trend line, right? So here's also a trend line on Nvidia, but notice how back here, okay, so way back in March, we actually broke through that trend line. We're not able to hold above it, and we came right back down. So the thing to understand there is that trend lines can be broken, and but they're price can penetrate the trend line, but the trend line is not broken until price can continue to hold above that level. So not uncommon to see price break through it, pierce that trend line, and then come back and retest it. And if you can retest it and hold and then go, then that trend line is broken. But you can clearly see we came back through it, and dropped right back down. However, if we go and we look at where we are now, if I can zoom out a little bit, take a look at where we are with Nvidia now in terms of that. So here's this purple line that's angled down here. That's that trend line. And look where we are, right? So we broke out of it. So here was the example, what I was talking about, where we got through the trend line, came down, retested it, trend line held, and now we're through it. So good sign for Nvidia. It has broken that trend line, and potentially now looking at going bullish. The other interesting thing is, this is kind of a big, it's already done the pullback here. It's trying, but if anyone is looking at different patterns, like a cup and handle, right? That's that initial shape right here, this cup and handle right here, pull back. Now, normally when you get the handle forming here, it comes up and it pushes above this high, and then it goes. So it's struggling a little bit, but if you notice, we are putting in some really nice looking bullish candles here, and with decent volume, right? So after the retest of the trend line here, we had a gap up, nice bullish candle here, decent volume, pushed higher, came back down. It held this level here, came back up. So we've got this level right now where we need to break through. You might be going, okay, well, what's holding us back? Well, a couple things. So we have this heavy line right here, this that red line right there. If I go to edit, you can see I've got a width of 4. I know that is the monthly 10 EMA, right? So I'm using the same color lines for everything. So my 10 EMA is always red. If it's weighted, or if the width of it is 4, I know that is a monthly line. Okay, so we've got that. That's one thing that we're contending with. But if you look at this candle that we had yesterday, very strong candle, not quite a shaved top, but pretty close. I mean, the high of this 170, 179 and the close. So within 10 cents of being a shaved top candle. And what that means is that just means it was buying right into the close of the day. So very strong signal, getting all that buying right into the end of the day. Now, what's interesting, what I want to point out is on a daily chart, okay? When I see this kind of candle here, and we had another one here, this right here is exactly what I expect to see in the next day. So when you get that kind of, and just from just experience, and we had a little bit of it here, but not quite as much of a, well, pretty close. But what I'm looking for on a day like this, after we have a day, so on today, just like back here, I'm looking for a retest into yesterday's candle anywhere from 20 to 30% before it starts making its move up. And that is just something that you'll notice time and time again with those types of shaved top candles, that kind of a very strong close, is that, you know, there's going to be some people, well, we're not gapping up on it today. Let's see, where are we with Nvidia? So we're right now, we're under yesterday's high. So we're not gapping up, whereas on here we did gap up. But normally after a day like this, you're going to see a retest, and it could be anywhere from 20 to 30%. So don't be surprised if you see that. And the reason that's important is you should know when you go to look to take a trade on a day like today, you want to be patient. You want to see, especially in this kind of a candle, you want to see that retest come in. And on the retest, you can have two retests, right? So you can have a smaller retest initially and then a larger retest. So you just want to be patient and give time for this to retest and then look to make the continuation from yesterday, right? Because this is a very nice, strong momentum candle. You do expect follow through. So look for it to come down into this range here. Maybe, so this is the pre-market low area right here, this orange line. Look for it to come down in here and then potentially go up. But we do have those monthly levels. We have the monthly 10 EMA here providing overhead resistance. We also have the monthly 20 right here. And then here is the daily 200 right here, this purple line. So just be aware that you do have some overhead resistance there on Nvidia. So again, if we look at the what's happening here, pre-market, here was that big drop. So again, this level right here, this orange line is that pre-market low. And that's where I would be looking for price to come in and retest that before heading back up. Take a look at Amazon. Right. So here's yesterday's candle. So again, big candle yesterday, but did not have as strong a close as what we saw with Nvidia. Right. So price action right now inside yesterday's, you know, here's the low from yesterday. Here's the high. Here's that big drop at 830. So we are trading within yesterday's range. So just again, be patient. Let the market shake out this morning. Remember that we do have the another report coming out at 10 a.m. right when Johnny's going to be taking over. So I'm likely to, unless I see a fantastic setup, I'm likely to be sitting on my hands for the first 30 minutes this morning until that that report comes out at 10 o'clock. Give me a second. Just need to get some coffee. All right, Amazon, back to Amazon. We don't really have any major, so here's the daily 10 here, here's the daily 20. We don't have any major monthly moving averages. If I go into the monthly here, right, we do have, here is the monthly 100 down here, and that's basically what we bounced off of last month, right? So I could add a line here. I could just drop in a line right here. I will color code that to represent the monthly candle. And I would make that a 4 since it's monthly, right? So So now if I come back into my intraday chart, I can see that level down here. I think I had the color right the first time. So on the intraday chart, now I have that level here. So if we do break down through yesterday's low and we start going bearish, I know that I have that monthly level right down here, right? So I want to be keeping an eye on that. Tim, all right, Tim, we'll take a look at Netflix retest gap. Do that in a second. Let me get just through a couple of these other tickers. First, we have 4 minutes before the market opens. Looks like AMD is pushing down. Let's go to AMD real quick. That was the next one I was going to look at anyway, but AMD's pushing down, just made another push lower, right? So AMD here, here was an 830 drop. We just had another push down. Not seeing, I'm looking across the board here. Amazon pushed down a little bit, but Tesla, Nvidia are holding the levels. They're not pushing down like AMD just did. But on the on the daily chart, let's take a quick look, okay? So I'm missing where's my high? Why is it way up here? Hang on a second. Let's move this down. Okay, so we're pushing down towards the low on AMD. Not sure what caused this drop on AMD when I'm not seeing the other tickers having that kind of a push down. Could be, we could just check here, check out the news, see if there's I don't see anything here in the news. So anyway, we have here is the monthly 50 right here. Right, so we do have that overhead resistance that you have to be aware of here on the monthly chart. We have our low from yesterday. Let me get rid of this. Actually, I'm just going to pull that way down. Get that out of view for now. Okay. We don't have anything immediately within. Here is the daily 50 here. So we have the daily 50, the monthly 50. We have, let me adjust this. This is the low. So we just made a new pre-market low. Let me move that down. So we have a new pre-market low. Curious, and actually I'm looking, Tesla is getting a little bit of a bullish pop right now. I'm not sure what is causing AMD to drop down. Chad saying, yeah, you learned that you could label the price levels on TOS to make it easier for you. Yeah, all you gotta do is just right click anything, right? And add a text note, right? So you can just add notes. You know, I do that sometimes with, you know, I'll add a note here like retest gap or gap and go, just so when I'm looking at the chart. Yeah, so Tony, yeah, Nvidia's popping bullish. Tesla's got a little bit of a bullish pop. And for whatever reason, AMD dropped a little bit. Yes, Tom is saying you can also draw a price level and have the price pop up. Yep. All right, so let's go to, we have 1 minute before the market opens. Let's take a look at, I think it was Tony was asking about Netflix. Let's take a look at Netflix. Yep, so Netflix getting a nice little bullish pop here. Yep. So we're going to have I think I'll move Netflix over, keep an eye on that one. Because that is a nice retest gap. Now, market just opened. Let me sign off of YouTube. Thank you for being with us on this Friday. If you would like to join us and trade with us every single day, feel free to go on over to reallifetrading.com. We'd love to have you join us.